What's going on, boys and girls? It's Tom.
And it's Jamie. Welcome to the Chronicles of Podcast.
The Chronicles of 2003, 2023.
The thing, like if the interview was like, "What's your favorite Smashing Pumpkins song?" and you said you didn't like it, and I was like, "Ooh, we obviously have nothing in common."
So fuck you.
So see you guys later. Great to meet you. Ish.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess. I'm just saying that to be polite, to be a polite Canadian.
How are you, Liam? Are you well?
I'm doing really well. Yeah. Hanging out, been chatting shit. I like doing interviews, they're fun. I like to talk.
Yeah, it's good, that's what we like.
Yeah.
Last thing you need is talk to an Indian. How's it going? Fine, cheers. Yeah.
I mean, I get it, because I think that there's some people that I have just like an endless well. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't wake up and be, like, I'm not bummed when I wake up. You know, and I do get that there's some people that like want to be in bands and whatever, but also they wake up and they're not stoked. Do you know what I mean? And so I see where that side, it's like, now you got to do a podcast, and they're like, you know, and especially if it's like, oh, you're like a goth band, or you make like moody kind of stuff, and then you're supposed to like be like, whereas like Cancer Bats is exactly, we're a podcast band for sure. I like this where people are breezing past the camera. Yeah, everybody. It makes for like kind of like a fun festival feel. Like the viewers a fly on the wall, you know? I like it. I like the element.
First question I need to ask Liam is, how the fuck are you wearing a jumper in this heat, mate?
Oh, I'm chilling. It's like the breezy element of it. It's also like a nice trick for sunscreen. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. So you have the baggy top, the size XL long sleeve, you know, so it's not like holding the heat in, but it's also keeping the sun off you. Yeah, you gotta avoid, as like I like to, you know, get a little bit of sun, get some, you know, some color, and then hide out in the shadows. Also, I don't trust sunscreen.
No?
No, I feel like there's a lot of stuff in there that is probably really bad for you to be covering your skin in. So I'm like, you know what? I don't trust a lot of this stuff. Like pharmaceutical companies telling me to put something all over my body.
Well, you put it like that, that's a good point.
I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to chill. I'm just going to avoid the sun. I'm just going to do my thing. Yeah. And where people are like, ooh, you know what? We realized you shouldn't have been doing that. It turns out you shouldn't have been like vaping that stuff, you know? Like all those kind of things. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to chill.
Yeah, absolutely. How was your 2003 been? Obviously, you played last night.
We played last night. So that's, I've been telling everyone this. That was the hard one. Do you know what I mean? Because I got to remember a bunch of lyrics I didn't write. I got to like get the lyrics right. You know, you can't like mess up Sabbath lyrics. Otherwise, you're in trouble. So that one I feel a little bit more pressure. So then once we finished, I was like, oh, okay, sick. Now I can just like autopilot the Cancer Bad set.
I was down there, like, I'm from Birmingham, so I have to support anything.
Yeah. It's in your blood.
It's in my blood, exactly. Like, I was just loving it. I was like, how are they going to make this Sabbath boys? They're just going to come out and they just run out in a cape. I was like, that's it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah. I was pumped. Yeah, and I was stoked that, because like this festival obviously is like pretty eclectic, you know what I mean? So I was like, it's not like a straightforward metal festival, which is cool, which is why I like playing this fest. But when you're like, ooh, we're going to do a Sabbath set, I hope, you know, there's enough fans to fill up the Forest stage. And it was awesome. It was packed. Yeah, and people got rowdy too, which I like.
Phenomenal. Like when I was stood there, there was like this 4-year-old girl with ear defenders on. Like, in front, I was like, yes, go on.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Sabbath for the next generation.
Yeah, exactly. Hell yeah.
So are you excited for your Cancer Bats set later?
Yeah, so I'm pumped. We also played the Cave stage in 2019, so it's nice to also like kind of know the vibe, like being like, oh yeah, we're gonna go back to a spot that we've played before, we're comfy, We crushed it. Like, feels good. Yeah.
Do you have like a certain festival sort of set up gimmick compared to like a normal show? Or do you bring the noise no matter what?
Yeah, I mean, the set list, we try and like kind of like pump it full of hits. Do you know what I mean? Versus like maybe a club show where you have more time, so you can play maybe some more new ones or like whatever. Yeah, we're just like festival. We're just like all bangers. Yeah. Yeah.
We love talking to bands at festivals as well, because festivals have this great like family feel to them. It's like,
Yeah.
people just like, we've never met you before. You've sat down and talked to us. We're having a great time. It's like, we could put it on the street.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I mean, you can. I think there's moments where you need to strike the commonality. Like, I ride motorcycles, and I feel like that whole community, you have motorcycles in common when you, like, you know, someone's gassing up their bike, and some old guy will be like, I used to have a bike that was just like that. Like, I used to ride a Triumph, and there would always be, like, old guys who would, like, chat with me about, like, their bike they had in the 70s or, like, whatever. Or you see someone else on a motorcycle, and you're like, hey, what's up? We're both riding motorcycles. So I feel like it can exist within it. But I do know what you're saying. I feel like there is that kind of, like, common bond of being in a field with a bunch of people. Everyone lets their hair down, you know, and like gets a little bit more social. I mean, for us, it's really nice because we get to see a lot of friends that we haven't seen in a while. So that element is always like, you know, kind of cool to be like, oh, I'm going to get to like link up with all these people.
Do you feel like when you're on stage, you're like looking out at the crowd and being like, oh, these are my people down here. It's like, this is the Cancer Man's family. I freaking love this.
I mean, I feel that a little bit more at the club show because I feel like that side of things, like I can actually like recognize all the people, and like it's a little bit more like, oh yeah, we're gonna play like Manchester, so there's that guy, and like this dude's gonna come by, and like everyone's gonna be hanging. So yeah, I feel like festival, you're sort of like almost out of context because you're like, oh yeah, I think that person's from Glasgow, I think, but like you're stoked, everybody's partying, it's always a good vibe, but it's a little bit, yeah, lost in translation, maybe, let's say.
As a podcaster, trying to bring the mood down a little bit here, but as a podcast, you know, we're ambassadors for the Sophie Lancaster Foundation.
Oh, okay.
Are you aware of the foundation?
I am not.
Basically, Sophie Lancaster was a girl in 2007, her and her boyfriend Rob was walking through a park on their way home from a night out. And basically, because they were dressed and looked a little bit differently, they got attacked by 5 lads and Sophie lost her life.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Her mom basically started this foundation in her name to get the alternative subculture, we call it, as a strand of hate crime, because that's why she was attacked.
Yeah.
So we love festivals and seeing people come together because people just be themselves.
Oh, yeah, totally.
The guys, the girls can let their hair down. You can wear nail varnish if you want. You can wear a fucking skirt if you want to. Don't blame me in this damn weather. I tell you, I can wear one now for Christmas. You know, people that just be themselves and not have to look over their back and have people shouting shit. And we love festivals for that.
Yeah.
And it's, I love the fact that people can be themselves and not have to worry and stuff like that. Do you feel that being part of this community, just seeing people just be themselves?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like a huge part of like punk and hardcore too, because I think within those like worlds, like obviously in the park, it's like that's where you're kind of exposed to the rest of, you know, society, and like that can be, you know, more like nerve-wracking. But then within this like community, once you're in the club, you're in the scene, you're like with a bunch of like-minded people, you feel that like comfort and almost like that protection in it. So I think that's one of the things that I've always like loved about like punk and hardcore is this like world that people can like be themselves. And hopefully like that was in 2007. I think like things have changed a ton since then, like especially being someone who's like, you know, been touring like all those years. It's just seeing people like, yeah, be more comfortable and be more like themselves, as you said, for sure. So yeah, and festivals are a great place for that too. It's like, you know that this is like a safe space.
Just going back, we mentioned Bat Sabbath then. Where the hell did this idea come from? It's fucking great.
We actually got asked to do it at Sonosphere Festival. So do you remember that fest? Back in like 2009, we got asked to do just any cover set that we wanted. So we were like, oh, we'll do Black Sabbath. It'll be cool. We can like just rip some songs. And then in learning that and doing that set, more people were like, oh, that was awesome. Like, we should get you to do that like at our bar. Like, you should come and do that at this festival. So we've kind of just kept doing it as people have wanted to see it.
That's amazing. there any plans to record anything?
I mean, we did do like 4 songs before, but I mean, there's already great recordings, you know, and they're on the internet. You can Google them. So we've never felt like any pressure to like do anything like, you know, other than that. But we did do one. It was like a reissue of one of our albums that like Hassel put out. There was like a little 4-song EP that came for free with the record. So we have done a little bit, but yeah, we probably won't record it ever again. We don't need to. It's more of a celebration. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
The energy down there last night was phenomenal. When I came out, I was like, God, that was so good.
Yeah, no, last night was awesome. Especially like the like forest. Like when we found out we were gonna play the forest stage, I was like, yeah, the tent's cool, but like to do Sabbath like in the woods, like just feels like way better. Yeah.
It was my first memory.
Yeah. No plans. Yeah, I don't know. I personally, like, I like getting to actually, like, tour the record and, like, have some time and, like, kind of, like, be out there for a bit. We also have 7 albums. So, I'm like, we've got a set list. You know, it's not as, like, dire to, like, get things going and, like, be able to like follow it up. So I definitely think that this record, I feel like there's people that are still just like getting into it, and like there were so many new albums that got put out, you know, so it's like, oh yeah, like to like kind of take in all of them has taken a little bit more than like just the average like time span. So for us, we're like, yeah, we're gonna like just keep playing all the spots that we want to. Like, we still haven't even really been to Europe. We haven't, like, been to Australia. We haven't, like, gone to all of the places that we normally do on an album. So, yeah, we're going to take our time. Yeah, exactly.
That's how it's getting now with like Spotify and everything. Like people just want the next thing. Like, oh, that was great. So what have you got next kind of?
Yeah, which I think is cool. And I think there's a lot of like, you know, like younger bands who are again like starting off and don't have even like a full length, where it's like that applies for sure. But it's like, yeah, like I think everyone could take a minute and just reflect on the other 6 albums that we did as well, and totally be cool with it. Like, yeah.
Obviously, you've just done. This is the last time you currently shows here in the UK, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, it's been awesome. Yeah. We hadn't, like I said, we hadn't been to mainland Europe yet either. We had only done like the UK, so it was really fun to get over there as well and like play some shows. We got to play with like Sick of It All and Hatebreed and like play a bunch of spots. So yeah, it was really rad to like get back over to mainland Europe too, and then to have like just this really fun week of like UK shows. We played like awesome shows like in, you know, Manchester, Glasgow. Got back to Milton Keynes, like, you know, played 2 shows in one night at Newport. So we were like, yeah, we're just having fun. It was good vibes.
Are you going back on the road anywhere else now, or are you having a break?
No, we have like a little bit of time off, and then we've got a Cavail Attack tour in Europe that's all of October into November. So that's our next like big thing that we're doing. We're looking forward to that.
It's been so much fun.
Yeah, it's been fun chatting with you guys. Yeah, for sure. Hell yeah. There we go. Perfect timing. Yeah, I'm stoked. It's going to be good. Right on, guys. Cheers. Have a good rest of the fest.